Sorry. So the taste of liberation. We were talking about taste of liberation. Like I said, liberation. Different systems understand this term liberation differently. Christianity says salvation, Buddhism says nirvana, and when it comes to Indian uh, pantheon of systems, they call it moksha. Moksha, comes from the word vimuksha, means to separate oneself. So in English, now we call it liberation. Liberation sort of indicates certain concept of freedom. Correct? So let's read this paragraph and then we'll try to understand what it means. Earlier, I mentioned that crossing heart region leads to liberation. It's only leading to liberation. So it is not liberation yet. So the condition of liberation starts manifesting from the second chakra onwards. So most of the systems, like I said, right, they have a different understanding. But when it comes to heartfulness, it's all about condition, a state of consciousness. Think of condition as state of consciousness. The feeling, the vibratory changes, the patterns, it brings it to your mental and conscious pattern, which reflects even at the body level. So that is what the condition means. So the condition of liberation starts manifesting from the second chakra. Means, like we discussed already, we get the glimpse of the soul. This connection with the soul is nothing but a liberated state. The condition of the soul is nothing but a liberated state. So it starts from the second chakra. That means you get the state of being liberated when you are in connection with the second chakra. That experience, that state of being in liberation, we get the feeling of it. See, once you get the taste of it, right, then only you can ask for it again and again. If you like a particular flavor of an ice cream, every time you go to an ice cream shop, you go for that flavor. Why? Because you liked it and you tasted it, you connected with it. Same thing happens here. Once you get the taste of that condition, that liberation in your meditation, when you are at second chakra, then you say, oh, this I have been seeking all along. Oh, this is probably the real condition of peace. Then your quest begins. Your asking for that condition again and again begins. Because it brings such a balanced state, such peace into you. Then you say, wow, I want to be in this state all the time. Otherwise, until you experience this condition, your idea of peace is escaping your mental rattling, the situations you are facing, the worries you are indulged in. All this goes away when you come in contact with the second point. And then you think probably this might be the state of liberation. So the taste of liberation begins at this point. So even if you are still a few miles away, you start feeling the cool breeze and the smell and salt of the air when you're driving towards the ocean. Because of the shift in conditions, some people get trapped with the false sense of having arrived at a higher state, and the curvature sets in. We did talk about this curvature many times in our sessions. But maybe, if you still want to understand again this, I can share the links which we did last time. And remember, this is just the second station on the journey. So before we move into the next topic, I'll stop here for any questions, comments, observations, and then we can move to the next topic. All right, everyone is silent. I'll move to the next one. Compassion begins. At the second chakra, you feel the presence of the soul, and that dissolves the limitations of selfishness. The concept of mine and his or hers becomes meaningless. You feel sense of equality in your heart. The feeling of others touch your heart. You feel moved to pray for one and all. This is the beginning of compassion. On the foundation of acceptance and peace, compassion begins to take the root in this chakra, in the heart. So, reflection. Have you had moments in the life when you felt ease with yourself and the world around you? How do you feel inside as you bring this to mind? What does the word devotion mean to you? What are you devoted to? And how does that align with your inner growth? I mean, really wonderful self reflection questions. Since it is self reflection, please do make a note of this and then try to think about this today. But coming back to this compassion, see, this compassion is selflessness. So when this compassion is not some sort of, like showing some empathy, sympathy towards somebody. See how these things work at a deeper concept, I'll tell you. Suppose if I have to show sympathy to somebody or empathy to someone, then they have to go in through some situation in their life. So if I'm always looking for compassion, automatically I'm projecting into the outside world that the situations have to arise in people. I'm making little complex here. Bear with me. Suppose if I have to be help somebody, that means that someone needs the help. Oh, I'm a very helping nature kind of a guy. Then what am I doing? I'm always looking to help people. So if I have to look for help people, people need help. If people need help, that means I'm sort of manifesting that situation around me, that I have to create that help around me. That's not how it should work. Only the need arises, I help. I'm not looking to help. So this whole selfishness or selflessness, uh, people have taken it to the extreme. That is the nature of the human being. We always take it to the extreme. But when you are through meditation, when you are in the presence, you're not looking for to help somebody, you're not trying to show compassion to somebody, you're not trying to do anything, you are in the present moment. If the situation arises, you are mentally, physically, in every which way ready to pitch in, but you are not looking for it. There is a difference. Looking for it and when you are ready all the time. So this compassion begins, or to show compassion, you are ready to show the compassion if the situation arises. but you are not looking for the situations to show your compassion. You understand the difference, right? If I'm looking to be compassionate all the time, then I'm manifesting situations around myself. You should stay away from such people. But I'm always ready to show my compassion if the situation arises. Then I'm in the present state. I'm well connected, well rooted in the self, in the divine self. That's a fundamental difference. I hope uh, I'm making sense. Okay.
Brother, question. Um, when it comes to that first one where you manifest it,
Yes.
and in a way that's feeding your ego.
You
Is
can
that
say
part
that.
of it?
You can say that. So now I'm identifying myself as a very helpful being. So what is ego is your identity you are creating, right?
Okay, right.
So in fact, I think the ahankar is the I amness. Here, the ego has different connotations, different context. I think it should have never translated as an ego. Here, ego is that I amness. How do I see myself? Is the ego.
Okay,
Ego is not an attitude. Ego is your identity.
okay.
So when my identity is I am a very helping nature kind of a guy. I'm a compassionate guy. Now, how do I feed that ego? How do I feed that identity? I have to manifest situations around me so that I am helping all the time. Whereas the compassion I express only if the need arises, then I'm not manifesting that around me, but I'm ready. That's a fundamental difference.
Thank you.
So with this, we are ending second chakra. From next week on, we'll move to the first chakra. Sorry, third chakra. So, but if there are no questions, comments, we can get into meditation, or else we can discuss few points and then get into meditation. All right, so I'll stop the recording.